Good morning. So according to my records, and I have been marking these days since the first Sunday that we were encouraged to make the decision to uh, social distance. And yesterday marked day 40. And that number probably isn't lost on any of us. Within the biblical tradition anyway, 40 is a pretty significant number that shows up in the narratives around some of the mythic stories, particularly within the Hebrew Bible. So we have 40 days and 40 nights that the rains came down, that is in the myth that speaks about an ark. And it was for the purpose of creating something new on the other side. Then we have the Israelites who spend 40 years wandering in the wilderness, and then we have Jesus who spends 40 days in the wilderness as well. So that number seems rather mythic. So I think the purpose for that number in those particular narratives speaks to a season during which there is an invitation to be transformed. So in the myth of the ark, we have a deity who's looking at the earth and going, my goodness, what a mess they've made of that. I think we're going to start from scratch again. And then for the community that was rescued from slavery in Egypt, the 40 years of wandering in the wilderness is for the intention of creating a new nation. A nation that did not live in slavery, and a nation that was prepared to be born out of a different kind of foundation based on the vision of right relationship. And finally, the 40 days that Jesus spent in prayer and meditation once again was for the purpose of discerning what direction his teaching and ministry would take. So I think a word that comes up for me right now is the word metanoia. We know that that word is related to metamorphosis, and it is translated in the biblical tradition to the word repent, which has become a really judgy and preachy word. But repent comes from the word metanoia, whose initial intention is to turn around and go in another direction, or to change one's mind. So I concluded last Friday's meditation with a challenge that we all consider what our three non-negotiables might be as we think about how we might rebirth this Canadian community and what values and principles might be at the heart of that imagining a new way of living together. And so a week later, I'm going to encourage you to consider, now that we've had these 40 days in the wilderness and might very well have another 40, I wonder what you have discerned to be precious during these 40 days. And then secondly, I wonder what 3 things you might be doing differently or thinking differently as a result of what you have determined to be most precious. And I leave you this morning with these words from Richard Wagamese, considering once again that we are just coming out of a celebration of Earth Day. Fog drifts across the harbor, the way a cat slinks across a room. And in that jaw-dropping silence are mystery and elegance and power. Sitting here on a morning gray as stone in a city on an island tucked against a mountain, you come to realize how dynamic living on a planet can be when you remember that we're on one. This great island tucked against the bowl of space is home. It is majestic and at the same time a humble being, allowing us all to grow and evolve. Earth. I will walk on her skin today, attuned to her heartbeat, the feel of her thrumming against the soles of my feet. I hope that you all have an opportunity this day to find your feet on the earth and to recognize just how precious that moment can be.